Imagine you step outside tonight, you look up. What do you see? Not just one moon, but two. Two shining companions orbiting our Earth. This is a different planet, a different story of the night sky. One moon might be large and familiar like the one we know. The other could be smaller, a shy sibling. Or perhaps they are near twins, chasing each other across the velvet canvas of space. This simple change, adding one more moon, transforms our world in profound ways. It starts with that first glance upwards, a moment of pure astonishment. The visual impact would be stunning. Think about it. Two celestial bodies, each with its own phases. Sometimes one is full while the other is a crescent. Sometimes they appear close together, a double cosmic eye staring down. Other times they are on opposite sides of the sky, a balanced, gentle illumination. Their colors might differ too. One could be a pearly white, the other a dusty red, depending on its composition. The night sky would become a dynamic stage with these two actors playing out a nightly drama for all on Earth to see, a constant reminder of the cosmic neighborhood we inhabit. How would this affect our view of the stars? With two moons, there would be more nights with significant moonlight. This means fewer truly dark nights. Stargazing, especially for faint objects, might become more challenging, yet the moons themselves would be objects of immense interest. Early astronomers would have twice the subject matter for their observations. Imagine the thrill of tracking two moons, charting their paths, predicting their eclipses. The night sky offers a show, and with two moons, we get a double feature every single night, a celestial spectacle of grand proportions. For early humans, this sight would be woven into the very fabric of their existence. The moons would not be just pretty lights. They would be powerful entities. They would be gods, spirits, or cosmic markers. Their predictable yet complex dance would inspire awe, fear, and curiosity. One moon rising as the other sets would mean the night is never truly empty of their presence. This constant companionship would shape our ancestors' understanding of the cosmos, their place within it, and the very rhythm of their lives. The sky tells a story, and this story just got a fascinating new chapter. and now that heart has two pacemakers. Our single moon bathes the night in a gentle, silvery light. It's enough to see by, on a clear night with a full moon. Now, add a second moon. The night could be significantly brighter. If both moons were full at the same time, the landscape might be almost as bright as twilight. You could perhaps read a book under their combined glow. This constant, stronger illumination would fundamentally change the experience of nighttime. The deep, inky darkness we sometimes know would become a rarity, a special occasion when both moons are new or below the horizon. This increased nocturnal light would have a huge impact on wildlife. Nocturnal animals are adapted to low-light conditions. Their eyes, their hunting strategies, their camouflage, all are tuned to the dim light of a single moon or starlight. With brighter nights, predators might find it easier to spot prey. Prey animals might find it harder to hide. Some species could thrive in this new, brighter night. Others might struggle, their ancient adaptation suddenly a disadvantage. Evolution would take a different course for these creatures of the night. Human activity might also extend further into the night. With more natural light, working or traveling after sunset becomes safer and easier. Perhaps early societies would be less fearful of the dark. The night shift could have become a more common concept much earlier in our history. Festivals and social gatherings might frequently occur under the dual moonlight, transforming the night from a time of rest and danger into a time of vibrant activity. The rhythm of human life, usually dictated by the sun, would find a new counterpart in the ever-present glow of two moons. The phases of the two moons would create a complex tapestry of light. Imagine one waxing while the other wanes, or one appearing as a brilliant full disk while its companion is a slender crescent. The amount of moonlight would vary in a more intricate cycle than we experience. Full moon nights would be exceptionally bright if both were full, but true new moon darkness, when both are invisible, would be infrequent, perhaps only occurring when both moons align with the sun simultaneously. The night's illumination would be a constantly shifting, beautiful, and complex phenomenon. Ancient civilizations looked to the heavens to mark time. The sun gave us the day and the year. The moon gave us the month. Our word month even comes from moon. But what if there were two moons? How would people create calendars? It's a fascinating puzzle. Each moon would have its own cycle of phases, its own synodic period. Would early cultures track both? Or would one moon, perhaps the larger or brighter one, become the primary timekeeper? It's likely that both moons would be significant. Imagine trying to reconcile two different lunar cycles. If one moon, let's call it Luna Alpha, has a cycle of 28 Earth days, and the second, Luna Beta, has a cycle of say 35 Earth days. Finding a common point where both moons return to the same phase simultaneously would be complex. This might lead to longer great months or special festival cycles based on the alignment of both moons. Calendars would need to be more sophisticated to incorporate these dual rhythms, a testament to human ingenuity. The concept of a month might be very different. Perhaps there would be alpha months and beta months, or the month could be defined by the period from one full alpha to the next, with beta's phases marking subdivisions or special weeks within that month. Scribes and priests who understood these celestial cycles would hold great power and knowledge. They would be the keepers of time, the ones who announce festivals, planting seasons, and important rituals, all guided by the intricate dance of the twin lunar bodies. Religious festivals and cultural events would certainly be tied to the phases of both moons. A full alpha might be a time for one kind of celebration, while a full beta signals another. What if both moons were full on the same night? That would be an extraordinary event, perhaps a time of great feasting or deep spiritual significance. New moons, when the sky is darkest, would also hold meaning. The interplay of light and shadow from two sources would create a rich symbolic language for ancient peoples trying to make sense of their world and the heavens above. Section 5. A wobble in the system. Earth's tilt and shifting climates. Our moon plays a crucial role in stabilizing Earth's axial tilt. That tilt, about 23.5 degrees, is what gives us our seasons. Without our moon, Earth's tilt might wobble much more dramatically over long periods. This could lead to extreme climate changes. Now introduce a second moon. What happens then? The gravitational interactions become much more complex. It's not a simple case of more moons, more stability. The outcome depends on their masses, their orbits, and their gravitational resonance with Earth. If the two moons' gravitational pulls were to somehow work in concert, they might provide even greater stability to Earth's axis. This could mean very predictable, regular seasons over geological timescales. A planet with a highly stable tilt might experience less extreme ice ages or hothouse periods. This long-term climate stability could profoundly affect the evolution of life, allowing species to adapt to very consistent environmental conditions over vast stretches of time. It would be a world of steady, reliable climatic patterns, a gentle cradle for life. However, it's also possible that the two moons could have a destabilizing effect. If their gravitational resonances were chaotic, they might tug Earth's axis in unpredictable ways. This could lead to a more variable axial tilt. Imagine seasons becoming more extreme or shifting erratically over thousands of years. Summers could become scorching hot, winters deeply frozen. Such instability would make it harder for complex life to gain a permanent foothold, or it would drive rapid evolutionary changes as species struggled to adapt to a constantly changing world. The long-term climate of a two-moon Earth is therefore uncertain. It could be a world of serene stability, or one of dramatic climatic swings. The precise orbital mechanics would determine the outcome. These subtle gravitational nudges, accumulating over millions of years, would sculpt the face of the planet, dictating where ice sheets form, where deserts spread, and where lush forests can thrive. The climate system is a delicate balance, and adding another significant celestial body to the mix would undoubtedly tip that balance in new and perhaps unpredictable directions. Section 6. Life's New Cadence, Evolution Under Two Moons. Life on Earth has evolved in rhythm with our single moon. The tides influence marine life. The moonlight affects nocturnal creatures. These are subtle but powerful evolutionary pressures. With two moons, these pressures would be different and potentially much stronger or more complex. Consider the intertidal zones, those rich bands of life between high and low tide. With the more extreme and complicated tides caused by two moons, life there would face a unique set of challenges and opportunities. Creatures in these amplified intertidal zones would need to be incredibly resilient. They might need to withstand longer periods of exposure to air or much stronger currents. Perhaps new forms of life would evolve, perfectly adapted to these super tides. Imagine crabs with even tougher shells, or anemones that can retract deeper into rocks. The sheer size and dynamism of these zones could also lead to greater biodiversity, a vibrant explosion of species, each carved out by the relentless push and pull of two lunar companions. Nocturnal animals would also face a new world. The brighter, more variable moonlight would change the game for hunters and hunted alike. Animals relying on darkness for cover might need to develop new strategies. Perhaps their eyesight would evolve differently, adapting to see in a wider range of low-light conditions. Camouflage might become even more crucial, or some species might shift their activity patterns to the brief periods of true darkness when both moons are new or below the horizon. The night's ecosystem would be tuned to a different, more complex lunar beat. Even plant life might be affected. Some plants are known to respond to moonlight for processes like pollination or seed dispersal. With two moons, these cues would be altered. Perhaps flowering times would shift, or plants might develop different strategies to attract nocturnal pollinators. And what about humans? Our own sleep cycles are subtly influenced by the lunar cycle. With two moons, would our internal clocks be different? Would we have more complex sleep patterns? Life adapts, and under two moons, it would find new ways to thrive, creating a biosphere subtly, yet profoundly different from our own. Section 7. Whispers from the Sky, Mythologies of the Twin Guardians. Humans are storytellers. We look at the sky and weave tales. Our single moon is a star in countless myths, a deity, a lover, a trickster. With two moons gracing the night sky, the tapestry of human mythology would become even richer and more intricate. Imagine the stories ancient cultures would tell to explain these twin celestial beings. They would be central figures in creation myths, in tales of gods and heroes, shaping the spiritual landscape of civilizations across the globe. The two moons might be seen as divine siblings. Perhaps they are twin gods or goddesses, one representing light, the other darkness, or perhaps one gentle, the other fierce. They could be eternal lovers chasing each other across the sky, their occasional conjunctions seen as sacred unions, or they might be rivals, forever battling for dominance, their phases reflecting their struggles. These stories would explain their celestial dance, their colors, their brightness, and their perceived influence on earthly affairs, from harvests to childbirth. Every culture would develop its own unique interpretations. In one land, the larger moon might be the benevolent Great Mother, while the smaller is her playful child. In another, they could be two watchful eyes of a supreme creator, observing humanity. These narratives would be passed down through generations, embedded in songs, poems, and rituals. The moons would not just be astronomical objects, they would be characters in the grand drama of life, imbued with personality, intention, and power over human destiny. The symbolism of duality would be pervasive. Light and shadow, good and evil, order and chaos, these concepts might be directly tied to the two moons. Art and architecture would reflect this dual reverence. Temples might be built with twin towers, or oriented to catch the light of both moons at specific times. The number 2 itself could gain a sacred significance. The twin moons would be a constant presence, not just in the sky, but in the hearts and minds of the people, shaping their worldview and their spiritual connection to the cosmos. Section 8. The Celestial Prophecy. Omens in the dual light. Eclipses are dramatic events even with one moon. Imagine the spectacle with two. Solar eclipses could occur if either moon passed in front of the sun. Lunar eclipses, when Earth's shadow falls on a moon, would also be possible for both. This means eclipses might be more frequent. But the truly unique events would involve the moons themselves. Picture one moon passing in front of the other, an occultation, or one moon casting its shadow upon the other. These would be breathtaking sights, unlike anything we see in our sky. Ancient cultures often viewed eclipses as omens. With two moons, the potential for celestial portents would multiply. A solar eclipse caused by the first moon might have a different meaning than one caused by the second moon. What if both moons were involved in an eclipse sequence close together? Or what if one moon appeared blood red during its eclipse while the other shone brightly nearby? Priests and astrologers would have a complex task interpreting these signs, their announcements carrying great weight. The positions and phases of the two moons relative to each other and to the constellations would form the basis of a very elaborate astrological system. Conjunctions, oppositions, and other alignments of the twin orbs would be meticulously tracked. Each configuration could be interpreted as a message from the gods, a forecast of fortune or famine, peace or war. The sky would be an open book, and the two moons its most dynamic and expressive narrators, their movements dictating the rhythm of prophecy and belief. Rare celestial events like a perfect alignment of both moons with a bright planet, or the simultaneous full phase of both moons, if their cycles allowed for it, would be moments of immense power. These could be seen as times of great magical potential, or as signals of impending doom or glorious transformation. Societies might organize their entire calendars around avoiding inauspicious alignments or celebrating beneficial ones. The twin moons would not just illuminate the night, they would illuminate the perceived pathways of fate and destiny for all below. Section 9. When Worlds Collide. The Inevitable Cosmic Dance. The presence of two moons orbiting Earth raises a critical question. Stability. Are their orbits truly stable for billions of years? The solar system is a dynamic place. Gravitational interactions are relentless. Over vast timescales, even seemingly stable orbits can change. The two moons would pull on each other, as well as being pulled by Earth, the Sun, and other planets. This complex gravitational dance might not last forever. One moon's orbit could slowly decay, or it could be gradually pushed further away. There are several dramatic possibilities. One moon could eventually be ejected from Earth's orbit altogether, sent drifting into space. Or its orbit could decay to the point where it passes too close to Earth, within what we call the Roche limit. If this happened, Earth's gravity would tear the moon apart. This would create a spectacular ring system around our planet, like Saturn's, but it would be a temporary feature. The debris would eventually rain down onto Earth, a devastating meteor shower lasting for centuries. Another terrifying scenario is a collision. The two moons could, over eons, drift into a collision course. The impact would be catastrophic, shattering both bodies or merging them into a new, larger moon, but not before sending a hail of debris towards Earth. Or, one of the moons could eventually spiral inwards and crash directly into our planet. Such an impact would be an extinction-level event, far surpassing the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs. It would be a global cataclysm, reshaping the face of Earth and resetting the course of evolution, if anything survived. So, the story of Earth with two moons might not have a gentle ending. The celestial dance could culminate in a final, apocalyptic embrace. One of these lunar companions, once a source of wonder, light, and myth, could become the agent of destruction. Imagine the inhabitants of this two-mooned Earth, perhaps advanced by now, watching as one of their moons begins to fracture, its pieces streaking through the atmosphere. The twin lights that once guided them would become a rain of fire, a beautiful, dynamic system, ultimately undone by the very laws of gravity that created it. The cosmos is beautiful, but it is also unforgiving.